Greetings, it's Denise Barnes of SoulSavvy.net, and I'm trying to catch the last light through the window behind me. Perhaps you can see the trees. It's winter time, and this is the December 2020 Soul Themes and Tools video that I do every month. And the theme of the month is Juggling Multiple Realities. And I am just smiling because you may see a bit of clutter behind me, which is moving paraphernalia, because that's the multiple realities I'm managing this month on the physical plane, is holding one old place, this beautiful place I have to leave, and moving to a new place. So that's one very physical, gross motor example of this. But my guides were saying there is just a lot of multiple realities we are holding. The main one being the old system that is dying as the new one is being built. So we are walking through those parallel realities. And if there ever was a time for parallel realities, it is now. It can be easy to get discouraged in the midst of wondering, how are we going to get through this? How are we going to imagine the world we'd love to see in motion? And yet we hear it's happening. So that's the idea this month. Also, it was brought up, and I'll have the intuitive write-up. You can see this as it came out. But the idea is that there's many realities we hold about humans. Humans are loving, humans are kind, humans are mean people suck. There's all kinds of realities there. One of the keys is to know your own self. To know yourself, be true to yourself, know what dreams you're wishing to bring in, and that is the ground from which you hold all of these other facets. So that is the theme for December, is just juggling multiple realities, and being grounded first yourself helps you do that with more ease. Another piece of this is to do the energy work as well as the left brain planning and things like that. So we are in a birth corridor, they say. We are in a birth canal. So sometimes you dive in and you're not sure when you're going to emerge or what you will. You may see a light at the end of the tunnel, but you have no idea what that's going to look like. So that's December 2020. And I have a feeling of just tenderness, I guess, for this year. It has been a very hard year, but it has also been an amazing year in many ways. So there's a sense of appreciation I have for it because of how it forced many to come awake, and light workers to notice their work, their place here at this time. And we may not exactly know what it is that we will be stepping into as a result, but it is yet that echo of rightness is here and has come. So it's a hell of a year, and yet there's appreciation for it. So this month we'll be closing down 2020. So there'll be more to come on that. And then the soul tool for December 2020, active coping, came up. And that's funny because I teach that in my day job, and I do a lot of stress management work with my clients there. But it's basically the opposite of binge watching. And it is something I had to use the other day. How do I stay grounded through the disruptive process of moving. And how do I do the energy work first? How to blah, blah, blah. So it Jess said active coping, it's a good month to practice that tool. And that basically is being proactive with stress. Our first response to stress often is to cringe away from it, is to procrastinate on things we know we need to do, is to perhaps worry about things we can't control. Maybe there's a really good episode and if you'd like to binge watch. So binge watching and distraction is the opposite of active coping. That is passive coping. We still need it. And there's a difference between that and sitting still and meditating, because that you're doing consciously in a way that you want to help your stress or help you better manage problems and challenges that you're dealing with. So I was guided to share with you my worksheet that I did when I was a bit unsettled about the whole moving thing. And, you know, as often happens when stress piles up, it feels like, you know, it gets overwhelming. And so then it's even harder to know, what do I do next? So that's often part of it, but active coping helps you break things down. That's one of its jobs, and helps you, depending on where you go with it, there's a couple of directions you can go. But the other day I, for example, did some problem solving and chose, how can I be sure to get meditation to happen, or what's a briefer form that I can pull off every day. You know, that ended up being the thing I chose out of, 6 or 7 options. But I'll just say, part of the steps of active coping, the first 2 in my simplified 4 steps to de-stress. First one is just list all the stress headlines. So moving, painting, remodeling, blah, blah. And then all the other work, finances, health, that are ongoing. So just all the headlines. And then there's going to be some that have jumped in temporarily, some that are ongoing. So you just list everything. You look at your list and go, okay, that's what's on my plate. And then in the second step, you take one problem at a time there, and then you look at what is in your control and what is not. And with what is not, that's where stress management can help. And you might see, okay, there's a lot I can't control about this moving and remodeling process, and I will need to be managing stress well every day. The stuff that's in my control, I can take a few steps that are next to do, keeping in touch with everyone, doing a project like repotting the plant that needs to, be put with the other plants that are ready to go. So taking action where you can. Often procrastinating, we think while we're binge watching that we're chilling, but our brain knows we're not. So leaning into the wind of challenge, that's active coping, and that's the soul tool for December. All right, it's a bit different, our screen here. The window is kind of dark now back there, but hopefully you saw a little blue light and a little tree form. And I'm wishing you well for this month, and let us all close 2020 with compassion in our hearts, with knowledge that we have the strength to continue and face the next challenges, and with the light we have brought and that we are attracting to create the next kind reality for our world. All right, thank you, and have a good month.